Why women's brains are more resilient than men's. What if I told you that science has discovered something truly remarkable? Women's brains are more resilient than men's. From memory and stress to disease resistance and adaptability, research is uncovering the secrets of the female brain. And the findings, they're surprising, powerful, and game-changing. In this video, we'll dive deep into the science behind this resilience. We'll explore how hormones like estrogen act as brain protectors, how structural differences create neural superhighways, and how women's unique stress responses give them an edge in adaptability. But this isn't about one brain being better than another. It's about celebrating diversity in how our minds work, and understanding what it means for all of us. So, buckle up. By the end of this journey, you'll see the human brain in a whole new light. The big reveal: what science found. When it comes to resilience, science has uncovered something fascinating. Women's brains often bounce back from challenges more effectively than men's. But what does that actually mean? Researchers studying memory, stress, and even the progression of diseases like Alzheimer's have consistently found that women tend to show stronger resistance to decline. In other words, when life throws obstacles, whether mental or physical, women's brains are better equipped to adapt and recover. Take memory for example. Studies reveal that even when the early stages of Alzheimer's disease begin to affect the brain, women can outperform men on memory tests. It's almost like their brains have built-in backup systems that keep them functioning longer. And it's not just about disease. When faced with stress, trauma, or cognitive decline linked to aging, women's brains are more likely to activate alternative pathways, maintaining mental sharpness where men may struggle. So why is this happening? The short answer: biology. Differences in hormones, brain structure, and neural connectivity all come together to give women a unique edge. And while men's brains certainly have their own strengths, the science is clear: resilience belongs to women. This discovery has flipped the old narrative on its head. For decades, brain research mostly focused on men, but as more studies highlight women's unique strengths, we're beginning to understand the true power of resilience hidden in the female brain. Hormones and protection: the estrogen effect. If there's one key player in women's brain resilience, it's estrogen. This hormone, often thought of only in terms of reproduction, is actually a powerful protector of the brain. Estrogen acts like a natural shield. It supports memory, boosts learning, and even helps neurons communicate more efficiently. Think of it as the brain's built-in defense system, keeping circuits running smoothly when life gets tough. One of estrogen's most fascinating roles is in stress regulation. When the body faces pressure, men's brains often react with a fight or flight surge. Women, on the other hand, benefit from estrogen's calming effect. It reduces inflammation in the brain and helps maintain balance. That means women can often think more clearly during stressful events. And the advantages don't stop there. Estrogen encourages the growth of new neural connections, almost like planting seeds that keep the brain sharp and adaptable. This is one reason women often show stronger verbal memory and multitasking skills, abilities directly linked to healthy, flexible brain networks. Of course, estrogen levels change with age, especially during menopause, which can impact these protective benefits. But even then, studies show that women's brains often adapt, finding new ways to compensate. So, while estrogen may not get the spotlight it deserves, science is making it clear: it's one of the secret weapons behind women's remarkable brain resilience. Structure and connectivity: the brain's superhighways. Imagine the brain as a bustling city. In men, the roads tend to run up and down, connecting regions within each hemisphere. In women, however, the highways stretch left to right, linking both sides of the brain together. This unique wiring is one of the reasons women's brains show greater resilience. With more interhemispheric connections, women can recruit different areas of the brain to solve problems. If one pathway is blocked, there's almost always a detour ready to take its place. Researchers at the University of Pennsylvania mapped these brain connections and found that men's brains are generally optimized for motor skills and spatial tasks, while women's brains are wired for multitasking, memory, and social cognition. But the real secret lies in adaptability. These superhighways allow women to integrate logic and emotion more seamlessly, helping them navigate stress, communication, and decision-making with a balanced perspective. Think of it like this. Men's brains are like powerful engines built for speed in one direction, while women's brains are like an interconnected subway system, rerouting energy whenever a challenge arises. The result: more resilience in the face of damage, stress, or aging. This structural advantage doesn't make one brain better than the other. It highlights how evolution gave women a toolkit for resilience, adaptability, and survival. And it's one more piece of the puzzle explaining why women's brains often bounce back stronger. Stress and adaptability: how women handle pressure differently. When life gets stressful, the human brain has a built-in alarm system. For men, that system often triggers the classic fight or flight response, gearing up for confrontation or escape. But women's brains, influenced by both biology and social evolution, often take a different path, what scientists call the tend and befriend response. Instead of immediately going into attack mode, women are more likely to seek connection, cooperation, and calm under pressure. This strategy reduces isolation, lowers stress hormones, and protects the brain from long-term damage. In fact, research shows that women's brains release more oxytocin during stressful situations, a hormone that promotes bonding and trust. This doesn't mean women feel less stress. It means their brains are wired to adapt differently. By reaching out, nurturing, or building alliances, they create networks of support that buffer the brain against the harmful effects of chronic stress. And here's the fascinating part. This adaptability also plays out neurologically. Women's brains are better at engaging alternative pathways when under pressure, ensuring they can think clearly even when emotions are running high. That's resilience in action, turning stress into strategy. So, while men may focus on reacting quickly in stressful moments, women often tap into a broader toolkit: connection, adaptability, and balance. This unique approach not only protects their brains but also strengthens communities around them. Real-life implications: what this means for all of us. So far, we've seen how women's brains show remarkable resilience through hormones, structure, and stress adaptability. But what does this mean in everyday life? First, it helps explain why women often excel in multitasking, memory, and emotional intelligence. These skills aren't just stereotypes, they're rooted in science. The ability to balance logic with empathy makes women powerful leaders, caregivers, and problem solvers. Second, this resilience has profound effects on health. Women's brains can withstand the early signs of Alzheimer's longer, meaning diagnoses often come later. While this presents its own challenges, it highlights just how strong the female brain can be in the face of disease. Third, it changes how we view stress. Instead of seeing stress only as destructive, women's adaptive responses show us that connection, cooperation, and emotional support can actually protect the brain. That's a lesson for everyone, not just women. And finally, the big picture. Resilience is not about superiority, but diversity. Men's and women's brains are designed differently, and those differences are strengths. By understanding them, we can create better workplaces, healthier relationships, and stronger communities. The science is clear. Women's brains carry unique tools for resilience. And if there's one takeaway, it's this: when we value and learn from those strengths, we all benefit. We've uncovered the fascinating science behind women's brain resilience, from hormones and structure to stress and adaptability. But remember, resilience isn't about superiority. It's about the unique strengths that make us who we are. When we understand these differences, we don't just learn about the brain, we learn how to build better communities, workplaces, and relationships. If you found this video eye-opening, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more science-backed insights, and share this with someone who would love to learn about the brain's hidden power. Thanks for watching, and remember, the brain is amazing, but together, we're unstoppable.